Hal Jordan or Guy Gardner or Kyle Rayner. That's all you kind of knew if you never read comics, if you never picked up a comic from Justice League or Green Lantern. So seeing the show was like a breath of fresh air. And it's like you see him, you see his dynamic with the team, you see he's headstrong, he's military, he's like just on it. So it's like he was really like on the team of aliens, God, I think one of them was a demigod or
Her
a
origin
goddess.
back then, her origin back then wasn't demi-goddess. Her origin was still, she was made out of clay and blessed by Hera. She wasn't a demigod
So
yet.
okay, but yes, he stood like he was still on his own. Where he had Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, but he made a name for himself, which I'm very, very proud of. Um, I did love the fact that they made him bald, which was in the limited series, I was like, oh, okay, this is new. This is something. Give me character development. Okay. Um, Also, his voice actor, which is I forgot his name. God, I forgot his name. I feel like
Lamar.
my yes. Who also voiced the Static was like very. I feel like he would love the character as well. So I definitely see that he enjoyed himself doing that character. Um, did I wish that Justice League Unlimited never ended? I wish it never ended. I wish I could have got two more seasons, but I'm happy that it ended when it did.
Okay. And okay, so this is my bad. We weren't recording at first. So would y'all please say what y'all are from
Oh.
again?
Yes. I am Keeman. I'm from Houston, Texas.
Oh no. My name is
That is so
Keelan.
funny.
I'm from
Bloopers.
Whoops.
right.
Bloopers. Yo.
Hi guys, welcome to tuning in. Yeah, so my name is Keelan. I'm from McDonough, Georgia.
Oh god.
I like long walks on the beach, play video games.
Oh,
Uh-uh. Uh-uh. Yo.
okay.
Oh god.
And I'm thinking like, AKA Devon Branch. From I live in Stone Mountain, Georgia. And no, I was not recording at first because I kept wondering why this Aussie was saying when you would record on the laptop or on the cloud, and I'm like, I thought I was apparently doing this, and I clicked on it, I was like, oh, you're not recording.
Technology.
Right.
Okay.
But this is a user error, so this is my second time. Well, my first time actually hosting hosting the Zoom podcast like this. So please forgive me.
Oh, all good. You're doing fine. Now that we're recording,
Right.
make
Yeah.
sure we get out there.
Okay. So we're gonna move on to the second black character that we got out of DC, which was Black Lightning, who has a successful TV show on CW and has 3 seasons. So I would say, look, if you can make it past 2 seasons on CW, successful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say it's a
You're
very
in there.
successful run.
Facts.
And
Sometimes they will cancel you within that first season if your rating ain't what it's supposed to be.
With a quick.
right,
Yeah, you gone.
you gone. You're right. But he debuted in April 1977, created by Tony Isabella and Trevor Von Eden. He was the first African American to have a solo series in DC, though it was short-lived. He got his powers from a belt at first that he and Gamby invented, and then over time, over exposure, it became part of his body. It became organic. But in the TV show, he got his powers from an experiment drug that he was injected with when he was, I think he was a little kid, and he got real sick, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. And but that was after Tobias Webb killed his dad, and Gamby took him in. And Gamby was responsible for a lot of the kids in his town becoming metahumans on the show because of what his organization was doing in their town. They were taking us black people and experimenting on them, which kind of
Don't sound too far fetched, to be honest.
right now, no,
Sounds familiar.
right now, it does not sound too far fetched because I know it's gonna get off subject a little bit, but this vaccine,
Ciao.
not me.
Mm-mm.
But staying on subject though. So, but no, we're not gonna be guinea pigs. Stop it.
Nah, it's not me.
Okay. So, Black Lightning. We know we've seen him in cartoons. We've seen him in. I think the first time I saw Black Lightning in a cartoon was. I want to say it was Justice League. No. It wasn't that one. It was Batman, Superman, Public Enemies. I knew who he was because I've seen him in like pictures, and I knew his color scheme and everything. So I said, yeah, that was Black Lightning. But he's also been in Justice League, Crisis on Two Earths, Batman, Brave and the Bold. I think he made a small appearance on Justice League Unlimited, but it wasn't until the last 2 or 3 episodes when the parademons were going out to everybody. I think he made a small glance of an appearance. It wasn't really that big, but he was there. So, and I will say this right now, a lot of our Black heroes have electrical powers. It's a lot of them.
It's known. It's famous for it. Black people in electricity. It's a winner.
Right.
I mean, we have a lot of Black heroes who have electrical powers in some form or fashion. So it is going to be a constant talk about on this. You know, but yeah, and then he went on to marry Lynn Stewart, who is Jon Stewart's sister, and had 2 girls named Thunder and Lightning. Who Thunder, she has density control and super strength, and through her breathing, well, as on the show, through her breathing, she can control how much she puts out. And Lightning is like her dad, but she is different because she's her own internal battery, where Black Lightning has to recharge if he uses too much, and he has to have a suit to keep his powers in check. Versus Lightning could just shoot all day.
Generator by herself.
She good. You know, she even can recharge her own dad. So
I was gonna say she can recharge him. So.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So she's the one that controls the lightning. So she is pure lightning. She's pure energy, pretty much. So there's Black Lightning, and then we have. Okay, so this one, the next person we're talking about is Cyborg, and Cyborg had to deal with a lot when he got debuted, because when he got debuted with the team with the new Teen Titans in 1980, and was created by Marv Wolfman and the artist George Perez. He was a high school he's still a high school quarterback, and there was an accident. His original origin is there was an incident at Star Labs where the creature that dissolved his mother, and then dissolved a big chunk of his body. That's why he had to come. That's why his dad put all those parts on him, and he came back as half man, half machine. So, but of course we know that his origin story has been redone several times, and catching up to the New 52s with Teen Titans, well, not Teen Titans, but Justice League War, and with Young Justice, they're kind of similar. Where there's an explosion, he gets hit with all the impact of the explosion, except for, and in both Young Justice and in Justice League War, he fuses with a apocalyptic tech. In Young Justice, it's a father box, and in Justice League War, it's a mother box. So, there's a difference there. But he was a big part of Black media back then, especially when the Teen Titans were formed, because I feel like he was the only Black member of the Teen Titans, to my knowledge. So
also, Cyborg was in the Super Friends as well. One point back in the day as well.
Yeah. And speaking of Super Friends, I want to say we also had Vault, but I couldn't find too much information on Vault. He was the black and yellow character. He was black. I mean, it was blue and yellow. Blue and yellow.
Right. So that was supposed to be the creation of Black Lightning. Was supposed to be him, but I think Tony like redid it in some way because I know he came first, and then Black Lightning.
Okay.
But I know that I remember Tony Isabella was trying to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if somebody else gonna do that, but I know Tony Isabella did some like remake because he didn't like Vulcan in that way because one, you never seen him that often in the show. It's like you saw him maybe several episodes where you see Superman in every episode, Wonder Woman, Batman. It's like these characters don't get no. I mean, I get it. The other characters was for diversity, but you never really saw them like that unless it was an episode that catered to them. So it was very weird. Going back to Black Lightning, I used to read mine. Like one of my family friends had like comics growing up, so I was introduced to Black Lightning. And when I used to read Batman and Outsiders, so I never knew about Black Lightning until Batman and the Outsiders back in the day, where he was coming up. I never knew he had a solo comic. I just knew that he was in the comic with Batman, and he was black. He had lightning, and he was on the team, which was pretty cool. Growing up, there was a surge of Black Lightning was popular. Then he went away, and then probably like in the early mid 2000s, they brought it back, put him on the Justice League again, which he was a prominent member of the Justice League with Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, all them good people. Which I'm thankful for the show because it pretty much put a spotlight on this character to show the struggle. Because I know the CW show, if anybody don't know about the CW show, it's very different from the comics. In the comics, we're supposed to be in Metropolis. Black Light's supposed to be in Metropolis, in the slums, the side of, the black side of Metropolis. If anybody don't know, that's the black side of Metropolis that nobody speaks about. Every time the two men don't go over there, that's the part. Right. But Freeland is pretty much the same thing, where you shine a light on, hey, I'm a superhero in this black neighborhood trying to protect you from all these things, and it showed a lot from him. He was a street superhero. I would dub him as a street superhero versus being an international one because he cared about his community before he cared about the rest of the world, which that was always a good thing for me.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. And I couldn't think of a city at first, but it was Freeland. In the show, it's Freeland, but I think also later on in the comics it became Freeland more than Metropolis that he was in. It was like because you had the gangs of Freeland running around. Tobias Webb ran those, and also you had other supervillains that came out of Freeland too. So yeah, but Black Lightning, like I said earlier, he was when I first knew of Black Lightning, I was like, well, okay, because at first, back when I was a kid, I didn't know the difference between DC and Marvel. I thought they were all one. They were both the same universe. I'm pretty sure a lot of us did, but I thought they were all in the same universe. And I'm like, okay, why he do Storm and all these other black heroes? I'm like, and then I realized I learned later on, oh, two different companies. Okay. two separate universes. Okay. Yeah. But speaking of Storm, I'm gonna switch over to who I think is really her DC African sister. And if y'all know who this is, just say yay right quick, yay. If I can guess who it is Vixen. Her debut came in 1989 in Justice League of America and created by Gary Conway and Bob Oxner. She possessed the tattoo totem, which was given to her by the spider god Anansi. And if you watch American Gods, you know who Anansi is. If you watch that at Shock, and you remember when he went to Africa, you know who Anansi is. The totem grants her the power of different animal abilities. Okay. So, but her thing is her bloodline, and as long as her bloodline, it was certain bloodline that had a good pure heart, you could possess the totem, and you could do good things with it. If you were an evil person that had like evil intentions, the totem turns you into like some evil half animal, half man creature, as was shown in one of her enemies. That's what it did to one of her enemies when she gave them her totem, because she knew if she gave the totem to save one of her somebody she cared about, but she also knew that the totem would have bad side effects against this person because their intentions were not pure and good. Yeah, but her ability to it helps her nowadays. It helps her to channel her animal abilities. She can do it on her. She can channel them on her own, but the totem helps her channel them better, so it doesn't go out of control and or it doesn't overtake her body with these different animal spirits and abilities inside of her.
Is that who we saw in DC Legends, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But I only learned of Vixen again through Justice League Unlimited. So you know, I didn't know who she was until then. I was like, oh, I don't know who she is until I saw her. And I saw her, but I was like, oh. And then I looked up her, looked up her origin. Yeah, she's from Africa. She became a supermodel when she got to the States. And all that. And she has a similar backstory to Black Panther in the way of the totems are passed down mainly through her family, her bloodline, or even her extended family. So, they kept it in the family with the totem. So I'm like, okay, that's what's up, But and I think it's also part of their African culture. Like to pass it down to somebody, it has to be, someone close to you, blood of either family ties or somebody with a good heart. They have to have a good, pure heart too, in order to use it the way that it's supposed to. Even though there are other totems like, I believe there's a fire totem. I believe there's a wind totem. So that's
And there was a water
too.
totem too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are other totems. Yeah. All right. So and even though Storm is the first Black female I've seen, when I saw Vixen, I was impressed by her abilities, not just with her animal totem, but just, even though she was a supermodel, she was intelligent. She was very smart, and she was more than just a pretty face, even though she was going out with Green Lantern in the cartoon. But, I was like, okay, we got another Black female. This is the second Black female I have seen as a young Black person in comics, So that was my impact. Anybody else got any other things to say about Vixen?
For me, seeing her like cause I also saying I never heard anything about Vixen until Justice League, Justice League Unlimited,
Mm-hmm.
and then seeing her actually like in the Justice League comics when I used to read them, in the early 2000s when she was a member, she was a beast because she knew her stuff. She knew how to interact with the situation where, okay, what powers do I need to use? What situation? What do I need to do in this situation to resolve it real quick? Well, she was very smart. I mean, a great addition to the team. I feel like she doesn't get enough shine a lot within comics. And she's always, I mean, her one shots and her limited series are very good. If you guys go back and read them, it's very, very good. It really delves down on her back history. But I just feel like as any African American character, if you're not Batman or if you're not Superman, you're not selling.
Right.
It's facts.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Storm 2015 run where we had to beg people, I think the creator had to beg people to say, hey, y'all need to beg for, more people to read this so we can finish this series out, which it only got like, I think it was how many issues that series got? But it was really good, but nobody was buying it. So it just goes back to the fact of if you're not Batman, you're not selling. If you're not Superman, you're not selling,
Yeah.
And I feel like Wonder Woman kind of gets the flack of, she sells, but she doesn't sell in that high degree like her male counterparts.
Male
So
dominated.
yeah, which is like I mean I can read Batman, but like Batman doesn't do nothing for me. Like I want to see like, powers. I want to see like conversations. I mean, Batman. I feel like if we put this on YouTube, somebody gonna come for me, and that's fine. I
That's
am ready for
look,
war.
look.
Uh,
Let me.
I am ready for war. I know, but check this out. I'm saying, sometimes
It's
Batman be
okay.
one of them. Like Batman be
Look,
kind of be
I'm gonna
one
tell
of
you.
them sometimes.
Look. I'm gonna tell you. You know me. I'm a big Batman avid fan and everything. But I'm gonna tell you, I don't
Yes,
disagree with
he
what you're
is.
saying. I actually understand. And if anybody has seen this, has a disagreement, you can come talk to me about it, because
Oh,
you ain't gonna get past me first of all. And I'm a big Batman fan. But I would tell you, as a African American person of color, as a male, seeing these black characters is iconic, and it's important to us because for a long time we weren't in anything.
right.
We weren't in anything. So, you know, what?
Just seeing Vixen in is
Sorry.
just seeing
Okay.
Vixen in is just wonderful. It's amazing, and just going back to it, it's like really exploring Vixen as the superhero that she is. She was a great addition to the DC lineup of
Mhm.
black female heroes because I felt like she was different. She wasn't Wonder Woman. She wasn't uh Donna Troy. She wasn't. I'm trying to think of other female superheroes.
She
Static Girl.
wasn't
She
she
was
was,
her own
right.
hero.
Hmm. Yeah, because even with her, even when they ended the Justice League of America comics, they did bring her back into other comics, or either as for a limited amount of time, or maybe just once in a while for an appearance, because she did make a big impact herself, just like John Stewart did in Black Lightning. But Vixen she did stand on her own as the first black female, I want to say, of DC. I want to say she is the first black female to be part of the Justice League as well back then, and when she
Yeah, I think
debuted.
so.
Hmm.
So yeah, she made a big impact, because now you got people that look like us. Some about some they're reading and seeing a character that looks like them, and like, oh snap, I can look. They got us in here, you know. And that's an important thing to see and realize. They got us in here. So
Yeah,
that gives people hope.
makes you feel included.
Right, makes you feel included. Exactly. All right, so we're gonna move on to now. All right, so we're gonna move on to Milestone, who has a partnership with DC, and because there's a question, the question is always, well, how did these characters get into DC if they're Milestone comic
Ooh,
characters? Because of the partnership that they
ooh.
had to use these characters, and of course,
Kim, first.
okay,
Oh
First,
God.
let's go back.
okay,
Milestone was its own entity
right,
back in the 90s.
yeah, it was.
So before anybody say, yeah, we know it was Static was part of DC. No, no, no. Static was on its own in the 90s with Milestone Comics because Dwayne McDuffie, that's his name. Okay.
Yep.
Did not see a lot of not a representation in the comics, in the comics that he saw like growing up. So creating Static, Icon, Rocket, the Blood Syndicate, um,
Hardwire.
yes,
Hardware.
Hardwire,
Hardware, not hardwire.
Yeah,
Hardware.
Hardware. I'm so sorry. Hardware. Seeing those, bringing those characters like and giving like you know, a whole structure of those heroes in a African American part. It was wonderful. It was great seeing those characters and that like they're not their name's not bright and big. They're like okay, yeah, we're superheroes in the African American community that's run down by some mess. So yeah, it was great. So always go back if you whoever watching if you want to read anything from Alpha Comics, it's online. I'm a big Static fan, so I went back and read all of Static old stuff
Hmm.
to his new stuff. Which I'm so happy they're coming back next year, which is great. So very happy that that series is not dying out, and DC don't know what to do with their product because I'm still worried about them and Vertigo and them with
Mm,
Vertigo and uh is Milestone. So that's great.
yeah. And speaking of which, also they confirmed that Static is getting his own movie. So we're happy about that too. It's been a long time
It's about
coming.
their
To
time.
be honest, it's been a long ass time coming. I'm like, I'm glad I'm alive to see it because I never thought I would be, to be honest. But also to backtrack on that, they have been talking about that for a long time. I think now it's been almost 7, 8 years they've talking about this movie happening, and I'm glad to finally see it having to come to fruition and take off. Because at first they were going to have him branch off from Black Lightning, the show, as a character,
Mm,
and then give him either his own series or give him a movie. They're going to have it branch off that way to connect the universes. But I think what kind of derailed that was Stephen Amell announcing, I'm quitting Arrow. So they had to push everything together for Crisis on Infinite Earths. And I think that derailed or somehow let it fall through that Static would be an extended character on Black Lightning and get his own show or his own movie. So I think they just went like, well, we're gonna give him his own movie. I think that's what I'm gonna go with that thought that that's what happened. But even if they still bring Static in through Black Lightning some kind of way, I still be happy with that. But I'm glad this movie is happening. And now
A
we have
mess.
Juwan Blackman from Tennessee joining us. What's going on, Juwan?
Not much. Just tired and
Okay.
hungry and want to take somebody's refrigerator because I'm extremely hungry. I'm a speed.
It's a lot of that going on. Being
Right.
hungry.
I'm like,
A whole lot of it right now.
did y'all not eat?
At
It
all.
wasn't enough. And then, I'm on this whole alkaline journey right now, and it's hard
Ooh.
because you only can eat certain things, and the things that you
Okay.
typically eat is always around you. So it's like, oh shit, what do I do?
I got
All
you.
you
I
can do
feel
is
you. I
stay.
feel you. Okay. So, so I was going into, we did mention Static, but I'm gonna mention Icon first. Originally under Milestone Comics, first appearance May of 1993.
Mm,
Milestone has a partnership with DC Comics to use their characters, but they were their own entity before this partnership happened.
mm,
Like Keelan said, um, Icon, along with Static, was created by Dwayne McDuffie. And Icon was an alien named Arnis who landed on Earth in a cotton field in the times of slavery.
Mm.
And his body had to adapt. Well, his alien makeup, or whatever you want to call it, adapted to the people that were around him. So, of course, when you land in a cotton field in the times of slavery, who you gonna look like?
black
Uh,
folks.
Wait, hold on. So I really missed that on his origin story. He's really an alien?
yeah, he's an alien.
So he's kind of like John Jones in a way.
Yeah,
Almost.
but remember they made him in the image of this is why they call him a Southern Superman because he was in the South when he came to Earth, and
Fair enough.
also because of his abilities as well, which I'll get into in a minute. Um, but yeah, so yeah, he was kind of like Mark. You can say yeah, he was like Martian Manhunter in that way too. But the thing about it was his ship malfunctioned. He got into an escape pod, and the escape pod shot him to Earth, where he landed, and he was in a cotton field back in time of slavery. He's like, well, we have to fit in. We have to look like the people around us, and
Hmm.
like black folks. So a woman found him, raised him to be her own child. He grew up and got married, fell in love, got married, couldn't have kids because he's an alien, she's a human. That didn't work too well for some reason. You know,
Right.
the writers went that way with it. So hey, but over time, you know, he grew up, and now we come to where he starts, you know, developing his powers and everything, and he pretty much is a Southern Superman. He is one of the characters in DC, and I would say more likely the only character in DC that can actually hurt Superman. I won't say only, but as far as being on the Justice League, he has the ability to actually hurt Superman more than anybody else
Oh wow.
because his strength is unlimited like his. Because under a yellow sun, he develops superhuman strength like Superman, super speed, super hearing, super healing, um, enhanced taste, sight, smell, all of that. Um, he has
So he a
positive
beast.
energy.
Yeah.
So he's Superman, but
beast.
more lit.
Yeah,
Right,
pretty
you
much,
know.
pretty much,
With
yeah,
enhancements.
yeah.
Enhanced.
And not to mention he has positron energy beings, which can make force fields, energy beings, and can also even make constructs like a Green Lantern. Yeah,
So
like big constructs.
Superman with Green Lantern powers.
Yes.
Bro, what did I miss? I didn't see him doing none of this in
same.
some of the comics I read for him. Like, yo,
Same.
you can do all
I'm
this?
like,
Can you join my
like,
team?
dang.
Justice League don't need you that much.
Super. He like
I don't think he
super.
even joined the Justice League. I remember they went against each other, but
Oh,
I gotta reread that because that was really good when I read
Yeah,
that.
I read that part too, where they made it look like it was for the shadow gang that they had in
Shadow Cabinet.
the Shadow Cabinet and the Justice League, and they made it look like they were fighting each other, and he hit Superman outside of the watchtower, and when they got there, Superman was like, "Dang, you underestimate your strength. You can actually hurt me." It's kind of like that kind of thing. When you underestimate yourself, you can actually hurt me. You know, my jaw is hurting. And then he asked Icon, "How is your hand?" Icon's like, "My hand's already healed." So,
how about that?
so that's just what it
Next
was.
case.
All right, we have somebody who came in to be a spectator. What's going on, animated gamer? How you doing?
Doing fine, and you?
I'm good. All right. So, and then we're gonna go into the next. Well, first of all, I'm gonna say this before I go to the next person. Raquel was the one who gave Icon his name and became his partner. And I'm trying to remember her powers.
She had a belt that harnessed kinetic energy.
Yeah. Yep.
So she can make bubbles of kinetic energy, I think for herself to fight or in case people in kinetic energy. And if they punch it, it becomes stronger with that energy that they hit it with.
Yeah, and the first time I saw her was in Young Justice Invasion when she joined the team, and she was voiced by Keke Palmer in that season. So,
Okay.
you know, props to Keke Palmer.
Yes, love her.
They have a job.
Yeah. So yeah, that's her thing is. But if she focuses her energy bubbles on one person or thing, she's stuck. She can't do anything else. She has to keep her focus on the bubble, them not breaking out of it. But yeah, the harder they punch, the stronger it does become. So that's kinetic energy for you. All right. So then we're gonna go to another famous icon person. We were talking about him before, and that is Virgil Hawkins, aka Static. And for those of y'all who don't know, no, his name is not Static Shock. It is just Static. I don't know why they added the shock for the TV show. I guess to appeal to somebody. But I wish they would just call it Static because they need the shock part. I don't know why they put that in there.
They always like to change things.
As it rhymed with the theme song.
Oh yeah.
The theme song.
I mean, he had to appeal to to the kids, to us, to the kids at the time. So you
Oh
know,
yeah.
And Romeo was everybody's favorite rapper back then.
oh,
No, he
oh,
didn't. He didn't do the theme song until like I think the second half of the second season, which was Lil Bow Wow who did the theme song. But at first it was just done, you know, gotta be a superhero, you know, Static Shock, and that was the theme song. That was the
That was
whole line throughout the
terrible.
intro.
It was terrible. It was like, well, y'all ain't had no bars. Like this was still the '90s. Folks still had bars in the
No
'90s.
bars.
2000.
No bars.
Come on, where your bars at, man? You could at least first your bars.
Oh my gosh.
Damn, not even a Hershey bar. It was bad.
Okay. But we all know Static, Virgil Hawkins, you know, he got exposed to some purple gas along with a lot of other people.
Baby gas.
And they called them bang babies because, you know, the explosion is what released the gas to expose them down the docks during, you know, whatever, a gang fight. I'm going by the origin of the show. So this is what happened on the show. I think it was, and I think this is mostly accurate in his comic book origin too.
It is.
Yeah. But he didn't get it as exposed as other people who went through biological changes too, and also gained powers. So that he, you know, realized that he was a human fuse box. He had the power to conduct electricity, shoot electricity, and all that good stuff. Make electrical force fields, make static, you know, make static clings, which means he can stick people to things that were metal, and I think also kind of non-metal too, depending on what was in it. And he can supercharge himself to go faster, and you know, and all that good stuff. So he pretty much was a human conductor, human fuse box. But if he did overexert himself, he had to recharge either through, you know, through electrical outlet or like a fuse box or something like that. And also he couldn't get wet, otherwise he's short out. So, again, did not know about this character until the cartoon came on. I did not know who Static was. Was like, but then I was like, okay, well, as I'm watching the show, and then the Justice League comes on, which is everybody except Superman and Wonder Woman. I don't know why they cut them two out, but they had Hawk Girl, Martian Manhunter, Flash, Green Lantern, John Stewart, and Batman. And he teamed up with them. No, he teamed up with Batman at first to take on the Joker. And then when they realized that Brainiac was attacking the Watchtower, they went and asked him for help. And that was a two-part episode where Brainiac was actually came to Earth in his ship, was building a ship to come to Earth and digitize the Earth as Brainiac does. You know, but except for this time, he didn't take any particular city. He just wanted to take the whole Earth and was like, well, I just need your knowledge, and then I'm gonna kill you all, basically. So I'm gonna digitize everybody. So hey, you know, try to stop me. And of course they did, but you know, and off subject, but between him and Ultron, sometimes I don't know who's worse, him or Ultron, but that's another story. But yeah, so how did y'all feel about who has, you know, a favorite episode of Static, or how did they feel seeing Static on TV? Keelan?
Oh, seeing Static on the TV it was good. It was fun. It was definitely worthwhile seeing him on TV. Because it was like this new young Black character. That was when Kid WB was you know, popping in the early 2000s. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna get up and get my cereal. I'm gonna watch this. You know, he was Black. He had dreads, and the shows mostly tackled, you know, issues that relate to me versus relate to everybody. Bullying, um, identifying with yourself, you know, loss of loved ones, police, gun violence, gang related stuff. It was just a lot. It just, looking back at it, was a lot of life lessons in the shows. And when you start looking at those, like, oh, that's what it was talking about. Me, I'm just, the young me was just like, go watch my cartoon, get ready, watch my cartoon, eat my cereal. Going back, look at it again, like looking at episodes like now, it's like, oh, this is what they're trying to teach us, being yourself, being different, being whoever you want to be, just enjoy the moment. So I definitely didn't like it how it ended.
Nobody.
But because yeah, it was a sad moment when it ended. I was like, what's about to happen? But it was good. It was good for what it was good for what it was on when it came on. So
Okay. What about you, Kimmy? Kimmy?
I'm a late bloomer. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I saw a few episodes growing up, here and there in passing, but I never really did like watch it full on. So that's why I said I'm a late bloomer to watch it in completion. But I agree with Keelan. It was very good to see some of the episodes because I could relate to it. I understood, the topics that were being discussed and everything like that. So it played a pretty good part, of my life. So yeah, I agreed on that as well.
Okay. What about you, Juwan?
I mean, what was it not polite for the majority of the part between social issues being tackled, see a black
Yeah.
superhero as a kid coming on the scene doing his thing. It was relatable from even the episode where he found out how he lost his mom. You had the situation between that colonizer, which so happened to be Gear's father,
mm,
unfortunately.
yeah.
Uh, I
Yeah.
mean, even seeing the origin of how other bang babies came about who weren't even at the event and still ended up getting powers by proxy of the other ones who were there. It was monumental. That's what we need as far as, showcasing black superheroes in that particular light.
Okay. What? Okay. So as far as for me seeing Static on TV, it's everything you guys said. But my thing is when he went, and this was a big monumental moment for me when he went to Africa for the first time. Well, I think it's the only time he went to Africa, and he told Richie that there are people here who look like me. I'm comfortable here. I don't feel threatened. I don't feel like I'm being
Hmm.
targeted for the color of my skin. I don't feel like I can walk down this. I can walk down the street safely without either being racially profiled or having a cop come up to me because they got a chip on their shoulder because of the color of my skin. And Richie, he was like, "Well, Richie, is this what it feels like for you all the time?" And Richie was like, "Well, I guess." But see, that right there kind of okay, Richie didn't realize his white privilege. Let's just call it what it is. He didn't realize he had white privilege because Richie was the type of friend that was like, look, I don't care if you're black or white, we friends.
Mm.
That's what it was, and I'm glad they wrote Richie in like that.
You hear that a
His
lot.
father, on the other hand, was not like that.
Oh my God, that
Yeah,
episode was very triggered.
it was. It was very, very triggering. But and then but in that moment in the cartoon, we realized what white privilege was between Virgil and Richie. Because Richie was just like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I guess so. Like, dude, you have a privilege to walk on the street without being targeted for the color of your skin.
Yeah.
Like you can walk around like like free as a bird basically, or just with no worries about being racially attacked, profiled, or shot.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
so that was a big moment for me as a kid watching that, even as an adult too, because I did rewatch it when they put it on DC Universe, and I'm like, man, nope. Do y'all? To be, and I'm glad that the show did win an Emmy, for what as a whole. But that episode right there, if that episode might have been what won the Emmy, is just the fact that you realize your privilege. Well, you realize your friend's privilege versus your own, and you go to a country where everybody looks like you, and you feel comfortable. You don't feel threatened. You don't feel targeted. You feel like you are home, basically. Like you can walk around and feel comfortable. You know, that was a monumental moment for me, even as a kid and as an adult. And also him running into a Nazi, the spider guy, was another one too for me, because I love my African gods, I do. But yeah, that the whole show itself, and then also another episode sticks out for me was the gun episode where Richie got shot because the kid was being bullied by, he had a bully that was bullying him, and he just got tired of it. He went and grabbed his dad's firearm, which was his gun, and he took it to the rec center, and Richie tried to stop it, but ended up getting shot himself. So, yeah, and then Virgil was too late, and Virgil was feeling guilty about it. I'm like, unfortunately, you couldn't make it in time, unfortunately, but just be glad that your friend's alive, you know.
Yeah.
And also, yes, we don't like the way the show ended, because the show ended kind of funny and on a cliffhanger. Well, it was a cliffhanger. They got their powers back, and they got more juice than they did before. So it would have been nice to see their powers, see how their powers grew from there. But because Dwayne McDuffie, I believe either he quit before he died or he died, and that's why they didn't continue it.
I think it's one of them.
Right. I don't know if he quit before he died or he died and they didn't want to continue it. I can't remember which one it is, but rest in peace to Dwayne McDuffie, because he gave us greatness. He really did. So, but I'm wondering how they're gonna do this movie without his input. Now, I hope they keep his vision of Static in this movie. I really do.
Well, I know at one point his wife was did kind of like sue DC, because at a point you had his characters when they did the whole New 52, everything was merged, and you know, Static had like a series for about 10, 12 issues long, and then it was canceled. And so his character was doing nothing in the DC lineup during then, because it was there, but it wasn't doing anything. So I know she had to sue them about that, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened after that, but I know that, you know, we got the DC fandom. We knew that the character was coming back next year, which was, they probably worked something out to the point where, you know, hey, you know, we have these characters, we don't know, y'all need to use them, or we just gonna have to take them back and just do Milestone Comics all over again, which I kind of was like, do that, you know. I know DC still have Vertigo comics, but at the same time, it's like I recommend for them to just say, fuck it, just take back the comic and just do it like we did back in the day and be done with it. Because DC, all you see is Batman. But that's all you get now. It's like you don't see the other characters, and it's like you get these other characters again. You get them a series, you get some decent writers on them, but they still get canceled because it's not selling. So it goes back to the point where we were having in the beginning, where you have characters that, you know, you want the story to, you know, tell to the world, but people don't buy them because people don't like, well, I'm not interested in this character. This character doesn't excite me like this character does. And it goes to the wayside.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right about that, and it happens with a lot of good characters too. It happens, but when they because there's even been some issues of the Trinity that have gotten canceled because they didn't excite anybody, or the writing was bad, or maybe it was just at a time where people buying and reading comics was. I mean, at one point people weren't buying comics because of company issues.
Right.
So there was a time where people weren't really reading comic books or buying it because of other company issues, because you were losing writers, you were losing good writers to either one or the other, or they went independent, or they went and worked for somebody else. So also, one thing too with DC, both DC and Marvel, they sometimes don't know how to treat people. And if I remember correctly, I think that's why Dwayne McDuffie left, because he was like, he wanted to do one thing with Static. They want him to do something else with Static. He was like, no, we can't have this. So if he couldn't do what he wanted to do with Static, he was like, well, I just quit. I just go. But on paper, they still had legal rights or some kind of rights to Static, which they could still use him, for later on for their comic books and even for the TV shows, because we didn't see Static again until Young Justice.
True.
So yeah. All right, so we're gonna shift over to Marvel.
Oh.
And I'm gonna save the first Black hero in Marvel. I'm gonna save him for last because it's gonna segue into something else. But we're gonna go to second. We're gonna go to Falcon, who debuted in 1969, along with, I want to see, he came with Captain America in one comic, or the Avengers. He didn't start out as a solo character. I think I'm pretty sure I read that he didn't start out as a solo character, but he did become Marvel's second Black superhero when he was in the Air Force, and they made him technically a suit for him to fly with wings. And I know Tony Stark came in and updated his armor with his own tech, and he made him Red Wing. But first Red Wing was an actual bird, and then it became a robot bird sometime later on. I don't know why they changed it. I think him having an actual bird was better. But Falcon became a big deal in the MCU recently when he first got debuted.
Recent, yeah.
Yeah, he really did become a big deal, especially when. But the most funniest moment was when Ant-Man went inside his suit and tore him up from the inside.
Never underestimate Ant-Man. I'm telling people underestimate Ant-Man.
No.
And y'all gonna learn.
Rather it's Hank Pym or Scott Lang, do not underestimate Ant-Man at all.
Right.
That was the most funniest scene. I was just like, he was like, how was he in my suit? And he was whipping his ass.
I'm in your head. This is your conscience.
Right, yeah.
Listen.
No, but but seeing him in the MCU was I felt like was another stepping stone for us as Black people, because I'm like, y'all finally bringing this character to life. Okay, cool. Y'all giving him his time on the big screen, even though technically War Machine was there first, but War Machine
is like Iron Man.
Yeah, that's pretty much
yeah,
it.
pretty much it. He's a Black Iron Man. There's nothing different about him, but the only thing that him and Falcon have in common, other than their tech coming from Stark eventually, is the fact that they were both in the military. That's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So There was that.
Yep.
And then from there we have Blerds, who came out in '73. Okay, so we've all seen the Blade movies. I'm sure we've all seen the Blade movies.
And TV show. Yeah, that happened too. That's analogy too. It happened.
And they had an animated series, And it had a TV series with Sticky Fingers. Sticky Fingers never acted again after that, and there was a reason because he can act.
We don't know.
Don't at all. Cut it off.
I keep forgetting that came out, and somebody I put it in the back of my head because I watched it. I was like, "This is such a bad idea."
Look, I saw. Look,
continuously forgetting. Oh. I still don't know him.
Look, I saw one scene. It was like, nope. Like, no. I didn't even give it.
That was or no for me. That was a whole or no because.
No, for real.
Or no.
I was like, how you gonna disrespect Wesley Snipes like this? How you gonna disrespect?
Come on.
Wesley Snipes gave us some good movie. Okay, Trinity, I still have no offense about, but 1 and 2 was great. Like you not gonna disrespect Wesley Snipes Blade like this. Right.
At that point, it wasn't even his. At this point, we don't know. We don't know this show. I was just like, I saw one scene with him in it, and I was just like, nah, I'm good. I'll pass. The animated series, the little animated miniseries was better than the actual TV show. I was like, what are y'all doing? Like, wow.
Delete it.
But
return to sender with no shipping label.
Exactly.
Okay.
Lord.
But
lost in translation.
But Blade, we know his origin story. You know, he was born from his mom got attacked by a vampire, and he was born because she turned herself into a vampire. So he came out half human, half vampire, had all their strengths. None of their weakness. The only weakness he really had was every now and then he would crave blood. And thanks to Whistler, who made him a serum that he would not crave blood. So, he didn't feed on humans or anything. Not a lot. I won't say he never did, but I think the only time he ever did is when he was drained of blood. It was either life or death situation. I think that's the only time he did feed on humans. But other than that, he was like, they want to call him an anti-hero. I guess.
He's an anti-hero.
Huh?
He's very anti-hero.
Yeah.
They want to get stuff done. They like Punisher. I'm just here to fuck shit up and get shit done.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
I'm
for that. I'm okay with that.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. So
Blade wants to.
Yeah, and yeah. So Eric, aka Blade, he had the vampires, demons, anything else that goes bump in the night. He teamed up with some very good iconic heroes like Doctor Strange, the Bloodstone family. I can't think of her first name.
Elsa,
thank you, Elsa Bloodstone.
The X-Men.
Yeah, X-Men, Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
He even partnered up with, and I'm gonna say this because yes, Nick Fury had his Howling Commandos back when Black Panther debuted. He has Howling Commandos, but the new Howling Commandos were actually supernatural creatures. So that's when they, I guess, rebooted them or made them into supernatural creatures, like Man Thing, and one was a Wolfman, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, those Howling Commandos, and Blade teamed up with them to take on, other creatures. But the main person he did go after in Marvel was Dracula. They did make him a staple for Blade. So
Dracula's everywhere right now. So
he's different in like
he just got done with the Avengers. Now he over to the X-Men. I'm like, okay, Dracula, what are we doing here?
Right. And with Mahershala taking up the role of Blade for the MCU, how do y'all feel about that? How y'all feel about him doing Blade?
I'm okay with it.
I
I
would like
mean,
to
it
see
would
it.
be
I am too.
official MCU debut at this point, considering.
I'm doing my Monique gift. I would like to see it.
Right.
I want to see
Right.
gifts.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
he'll pull it off.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I want to see it too.
I think he could do really well.
I think so too. I think because
I think he could
he
do
can
really
act.
well.
Because he was Cottonmouth in Luke Cage, and he did good with that. So
Yeah.
no.
Right.
Took his
For
role
what it's
off
worth. Yeah.
by,
For what it's worth until he got killed. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Right.
like, how y'all kill off
Right.
Cottonmouth this early? Like, something ain't right about this.
Yeah, Black
Maybe because he was joining the MCU.
Mariah. Right. It could have been,
Yeah.
But Black Mariah didn't have to kill him. I mean, she didn't have to kill him like that, hit him with the mic stand.
I know. She was beating his ass up.
Yeah.
I was like,
Even that
dang.
role in the comics, I was like, God.
Like she had that all pent. She had that pent up. Like woof.
She really did. She really did.
Almost like she been plotting this from the beginning
Jeez.
episode or something like that. It's like, child, we just got here. What you mad for?
Right.
Woke up angry at eggs and bacon. Damn.
Exactly. All right, and then
Oh gosh.
so next after Blade, we have look. This is somebody that people have been arguing about for years, ever since the first X-Men
I
movie.
already know.
The queen herself.
My homie.
Yeah,
Oh.
yes. And everybody
People been trying to figure out who gonna play her now, who don't want to play her. Why was Halle Berry and not Iman or Angela Bassett? Look.
If I'm being completely honest, before all of the things that has been going on, I would have loved. I've always said from day one, I would have loved to see Angela Bassett play her.
Yes.
It's too late
She
now.
was the thing is she was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But
Perfect, like bone structure, all of that. Perfect.
she was supposed to play Storm, but because of two things that made her quit playing Storm. One, it took too long with the script, or they couldn't figure it out what to do with the script as far as her character. And I can understand that because that's the same reason why there was a rumor floating around with Henry Cavill vacating being Superman because they didn't know what to do with the script. And a lot of actors and actresses go through that. The script, if they can't figure out what to do with the script, what to do with the script in a certain amount of time, because actors have a schedule to keep.
Right.
And they have to move on to the next project. So they're like, hey, if you can't come up with a
Plus,
script.
Angela's Angela. I mean,
right.
She was booked. Okay.
There was that reason. And number two, and number two is when she saw, look, now I don't know how true this rumor is, but when she saw the way they portrayed Storm, she was like, no, because Storm is not this weak character.
She really not.
She's not. She's really not.
I mean, even without her elements of power, Storm can fight.
I'm gonna say Storm fucking up shit when she had no power.
Right.
Right.
Come on.
Y'all remember
she's a beast.
She was stealing shit and stuff like that.
Yeah, she was a thief.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's a whole thief. Like, she's bad.
She had to survive on the streets out there in Africa. Y'all
listen.
Right.
She was hungry.
I mean,
she came out there with a whole loaf of bread and some fruit. Y'all playing.
Right.
Can we
Look,
I know I'm so sorry, but can we just talk about her portrayal in the movies? Not even from the old movies and the new movies. It's like okay, we're gonna give you Storm, but we're gonna tone her down 5 notches because she's not the main. She's the star when she's the most powerful member on her team besides Jean Grey. And that's another story for another day because we're not focusing on her.
Right.
So we got light showers, and then We got Gigi or something.
And exactly.
We got Storm
Like,
Light. We didn't get Storm. We got Storm Light. We got Diet Storm.
We got light showers. Light showers.
like
Light showers.
Like, Storm should have been manhandling this. Storm could have manhandled the whole Brotherhood of Mutants in the first movie. Like she went in like.
Because
boom, boom,
I'm
boom.
like this. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm like this. When she took on Toe and Toe get in the other, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm like, where was the lightning at?
Exactly.
That should have been boom on the spot. Like, bruh.
Where was the wind? Look, Storm should have just went. And he should have went flying. I'm like, what the fuck?
I like this fight should have lasted as long as it did. That should have been done.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, for real. For real.
And then when Sabretooth,
you could have took the moisture out of him. You could have zapped him.
She could have done a lot.
Yeah.
You could have kicked him and knocked him out. Like, Storm's a fighter.
Right, she is.
Like, where's the? I need Storm. You know.
We
and
need
I remember
fighting Storm. We need.
And I remember I saw somebody post. About it and was like, why do people have so much, like, why do they want to see her portrayed correctly and why they go up for her all this stuff? And I said, because for so long they've portrayed her horribly. And if you know her, you know that she's a beast. Like, she's powerful. You know, she has all of these things that she can do. But what we are shown on TV in these movies, it's almost like you've watered her down so much to the point where it's like, what is her reason?
Right.
You know, so that's why a lot of people go up for her.
Mm-hmm.
It's the reason why Black Panther married her. That's one of the reasons. But it's the main reason why Black Panther T'Challa married her, because even after their marriage was dissolved, he still loved that woman.
Mm-hmm.
Out of anybody in the world, he still loves Storm, because Storm is pretty much his kind of equal in a way, because Storm don't take no shit for nobody. You know,
right.
You know,
Yeah.
if you may, you know, she may give you a look, but Storm don't take shit from nobody.
Right.
I think that's what T'Challa loves about Storm, because she embodies him in a way, because she commanded the X-Men with no powers, and she's the heart. She's like the mother of, you know, Kitty, and she pretty much, she's one of the main essential people of the X-Men animated series that it made famous, because her quotes of her powers being used, like, you know, Storm, like,
her montage, her monologues.
Yes.
Like, you can't tell me her monologues are not fucking legendary in that show. Like, it gets annoying.
They are. Yes, very much so.
Monologue, that shit hurt. You be on the ground like, hold up, that was a new type of lightning. That was a new Why is it so strong?
Who made you mad, girl? Who made you mad?
Okay.
No, because I remember. Okay, I remember. I was looking at one comic, right? And Storm was in the desert somewhere. I can't remember where, but she was in the desert, and she was talking to this one guy, and the guy came up there and threatened her. And the next thing you know, this windstorm came out. She just stood there like, okay. And the next thing you see him flying in the air with a gust of wind, she didn't even move a muscle. She was just like, and that's
the type of girl she is. That's what we want.
Right.
She bad. Like, she bad.
Like, she did that. She did that shit. It was just like, okay.
Like, can we get that?
So next. Like,
with no care.
No fucks given.
No
like, next.
She just like, come back when you ready.
Right. But
like,
even in this
bad, man. Like,
Like even in the scene in the first one with Sabretooth, when the Sabretooth held up to the glass top of something, you open and scream.
Ooh.
I was like, wait, this ain't Storm. Because Storm would have.
That is.
Storm can handle Sabretooth too. Sabretooth has some tenacity. Don't get me wrong. He's not no weak ass dude. However,
Right.
Not at
still
all.
fighting up against Storm.
Like,
You just Wolverine without the adamantium. That's all that is.
Right, pretty much.
right. And like Storm, I'm like, Storm, you had to call lightning from the sky. You didn't shoot it from your hands, girl.
Right.
Like,
Mhm.
like
You could
He
have
was
hit
choking
him
her
with the
up,
lightning
like,
ball. That would have been it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Storm made no point.
It
I
was just
mean,
bad.
look, like I made a meme a while ago talking about some. If Bitch You Tried It was a person was when in X-Men Evolution when Mystique for some odd reason thought she was gonna beat Storm.
Oh yeah. Got
You
that.
changed
So
the people. And you changed it. You ain't got no powers. That's all you got.
Can I say that was a moment that in my childhood, that's when I knew I was gay because I was like, yes, I live for I love the episode. I keep going back and watching it over and over again because that was fucking legendary. In my house, attacking me. In my place of where I live, in my oh no.
Storm was like,
And
I don't know why.
Fires was full of laughter during that episode. I swear.
Storm was like, I don't know why you came here, and I really don't much care, but this is my home, and you need to get and you need to go. You ain't welcome here. It came out there fog and punched her, and it was done. It was like
And Mystique still felt that afterwards. I remember there was another episode in Evolution where they had to decide on something when they all got attacked. And they had to get up somewhere, and Mystique was telling Storm this, and Storm was like, hold up, bitch. Hold up.
Right.
Let me tell you about myself real quick. Scott was like, Storm.
Right.
Oh gosh.
I'm like, round two, bitch. Round two.
Right.
I want these rounds.
Because Storm is an Omega level mutant, and they watered her down. I'm like, y'all let Storm let loose. Come on now, she need to be done properly in these movies. Let her loose.
They did her properly in the animated series. When that Tiki Witch unleashed all of her inhibitions, and then she went wild on the Savage Land.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I don't even
right
now. She's doing too much.
Right. Yeah.
How you summon a hurricane, an earthquake, and
really
a tornado all at once? That's too much. That's too much power. Storm. You're doing too much right now.
Even when even in the Wolverine X-Men series, which was very good but very short-lived, when they went to go find her, she almost about to drown Africa because the Shadow King. But Shadow King knew how much what limited power she had because Storm can literally flood a whole nation if she wanted.
If she wanted to.
If she wanted to fuck this whole planet up, she could do that.
Right. And just like in Evolution, when the Hungan came to possess Storm and her powers, and when Evan broke that rod, and Storm was like, "You want my powers, Hungan? Here's more than you can handle," and blew him away like it won't nothing.
There's a scene, there's a panel in that I knew that she was that bitch. It was an X-Men the Objectiveless X-Men when it was the woman team, it was just the woman X-Men team. They had to do something. I think it was on a mission. They was being attacked. Psylocke and an ex-student was being attacked, and Storm tells Psylocke and the kids get back. And Rachel Summers was like, "What you about to do?" Storm's like, "Just give me a second." And I remember Storm unleashed like a heat wave of so much proportion that some of them went into almost like a catatonic state of being dehydrated and just being like almost dead to the point. So I'm like, they're not dead. They're still alive, you know.
Right.
Get back up, but like, can you quit?
You put a little rainfall down. You bring a little rainfall. Just bring a rainfall.
Right.
So sorry.
Why I feel so exhausted?
Like,
Oh, I feel
Storm
that.
got deep. You don't want to fuck with her. That's
He just right. Storm is not to be fucked with. She's not. She's not.
Apparently, I can't even keep a bottle of Zephyr Hills around her.
But
All my liquid.
but going back, okay,
No.
so I'm just gonna throw this in there and we go back to the movies. Yeah, Storm made her debut in 1975, so she's been around just as long as anybody, just as long as the
Quite
other.
a while.
She's been around for a while, and yeah, we want to see her portray like she needs to be in the MCU. So
legendary.
my thing is this too. It's not just who they get to play her, but who's directing this movie. Because
Right.
I know a lot of people want to blame like it on Halle Berry and what's the other chick's name that played her in
Alexandra.
Yeah.
Alexandra
I mean, I won't give Alexandra credit for this. She did do an accent. I'll give her credit. It might not have been the best accent, but she tried. Okay, I'll give her credit for that.
She's better than
She
Halle.
was an action after the first movie.
All right.
I was glad I say that, but
well,
look, Paul Hal.
I was like, Halle, where the accent go? It just went straight out the door.
Right.
Like,
She went straight to New York. She was straight up wherever she's from. That's what she went to. She was just like, hey, I tried. I would just talk like this. So, but
right.
but hey, you know. But also, you can't always just blame the actress or actor. You can blame the director too, because remember the way they portrayed Storm in those movies was not the Storm that we know and love, and it was nowhere near the level of Storm that it should have been. So these directors were just as much to blame as the actor or actress. Actually, I would say they were mostly to blame, to be honest, because of the way.
I'm just mad that they even allow it to happen. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that?
Most of them ain't even fans of the comics either. That's the worst part about it. They don't really
Brian Singer.
Right.
At all like us fans do. It's just like, you know, if you're not gonna do it and have a whole heart about it, ain't no sense of you getting on the project.
Right. Don't have that do it and give us Wolverine and the X-Men. It's like Wolverine, we focus on Wolverine and the X-Men is like background. No. X-Men is a family. X-Men is a group.
Yeah, everybody got shine in the X-Men. Everybody. Even you believe.
Yeah.
You know, you've seen the X-Men in this full out family fight. Like Wolverine is probably like in the background, but you see Cyclops, which Cyclops, that's a whole other story too.
Please don't.
That was sad. But just seeing these characters like Storm portrayed in the movies, I feel like they got Storm kind of right in Days of Future Past, which I'm not gonna lie, I feel like Halle did want to kind of do more, but at the time she was pregnant, so she couldn't do what she wanted to do, which you know, I get that you're pregnant. Which if she wasn't pregnant, I feel like Storm could have went. That could have been the Storm that we got and what we wanted.
Yes, yes.
Because
I was like, now y'all finally getting it right, but she can't do much.
Because the director wanted that look. They had a different director for that movie, and I'm glad they did. He wanted to show more of Storm to really give Halle to be the Storm that we needed her to be, but she was pregnant, so she couldn't do as much as she wanted to do because they had her doing like a little bit of fighting, a little bit of getting thrown around a little bit, but she was pregnant, so it was like even though they used a stunt double, but still they didn't want to take the chance. So I think if she had been pregnant, we would have got Storm, like Storm,
or a little smidget, just a little bit of it.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like Alexandra Storm again, playing the background, to the X-Men, especially in a Dark Phoenix.
Absolutely.
I was like,
I still haven't seen that movie.
Me either. You're not alone, because I'm just afraid to watch it because I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it.
Right.
You're not gonna miss a whole lot.
you're not gonna miss a whole lot.
Exactly. That's what I keep hearing. That's why I won't even take myself to go look at it.
Right.
I don't even call it the Phoenix. I call it the Flame Phaser.
I call it just Gene. I just say Gene just being mad for some reasons. That's all. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Again, another character, which Gene ain't black, but another character that is
powerful.
But they didn't take it.
They underutilized her.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I'm like, what are y'all doing with the X-Men franchise?
That's no different.
It's just like the cartoon.
Days of Future Past.
It's just like the cartoon. Gene would float a pencil and pass out in the cartoons. I was like, wait, and call out.
I used to hate that. I hate it. She always be like, oh, and I'm like, girl, are you kidding me? Get out.
Yeah, but as soon as you read the comment, Gene over there just fucking people up.
Right,
literally. She done fucked Sabretooth up, like telling him like you're a firecracker, I'm an atomic bomb. I was like, why we don't have this Gene in the comics in the show? But I feel like they made it up in Evolution. Like they gave us Gene is this is Gene. This is Gene. This is Gene becoming powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I would love a fifth season where she became the Phoenix.
Yeah.
That would have been a moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like even when we were in the X-Men, I feel like we didn't give the Gene enough Gene because I feel like that Gene would have been awesome as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I always think every nerd group also just refer back to that whole Jean Grey animated series because that's all people know. They don't know anything else but that. And I was like, these characters are not their comic book counterparts. I need you to read. Like I'm a person of I will throw a scan at you of what Jean did in a comic book versus anything. And that's why I feel like I need to calm down on that because this is why I don't interject with nerd groups because I feel like I'm gonna give you all the facts. Everything that you just know about these characters, I'll make my case known.
Okay.
So I'm like, let me calm down.
They toned her down.
They did. They toned her down. They toned her down. They even toned Rogue down too, to a degree.
Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on that one. She ain't black either, but don't even get me started.
Right. Okay, so all right, so we're gonna go on to. I did this out of order. My fault. But we're gonna go over to Luke Cage. Now, we've all seen Luke Cage. Who's seen Luke Cage on the Netflix series?
I have.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I watched it faithfully.
So we all know Luke Cage's backstory. He was he got caught up in some criminal activity. He does have a record. He went to jail. They experimented on him. He came out with skin that was pretty much bulletproof and super strength. And back in 72 when he debuted, of course, racial tension still, but he was an important character at that time too. And of course, think about it like this: do you think that cops wanted a bulletproof superhero running around?
A black
one at that. A black
right. Saying a black superhero running around that's bulletproof. No, they did not want that.
We can't shoot her. What we gonna do?
We can't shoot them.
They're like he's a threat to us. We need to get rid of him. He need to be locked up because he's this character gotta go. This character gotta go. I'm like,
yeah, because
you can't make him go.
Right. But see, the thing about it is, too, when he came out, he was known as Power Man before he was known as Luke Cage. So, and still, Luke Cage, Power Man, was a force to be reckoned with because he went through the streets of Harlem. He took down these gangs that could not shoot him, stab him, or whatever because of his bulletproof skin and because of his superhuman strength. Then he even, teamed up with Jessica Jones, which became his baby mama, and who was another superhero, super strength woman, because of she got experimented on too. And they formed along with well, first of all, let me backtrack. With Iron Fist became the Heroes for Hire, and then along came Jessica Jones and Daredevil, Misty Knight, and Colleen Wang, Wing or Wang.
I think it's Wayne.
They were the Defenders. So yeah, Luke Cage was a pretty big deal. He really was. And then of course I think also there was a storyline where all the black superheroes came together and they teamed up and did something. And then I think at one point in time, Marvel was killing off their black characters for some reason, which didn't make sense. But
never does.
My thing was this: I think they were about to reboot their universes again. I think that's why they were doing it. At least that's what I want to say. I think that's why, because they were about to reboot their universes again. And I'm like, why not just do what DC did with Flash, with Flashpoint, making the timeline. That's all you gotta do. You don't gotta kill nobody. Just reboot, rebirth the universe.
Something.
Right. You had to start sitting there and killing all these characters off. It made no sense.
And that's
good characters at that.
Right.
That's the thing. People don't understand with the multiverse. No matter what you do in one timeline, there's so many other ones where it didn't happen or something alternative happened. So these characters are eternal. They forever. So I mean, we might have Jean die in one timeline like 5 times, which I still don't get why she died 5 times and came back 5 times. But it's one time when she died and she just didn't come back at all. So I mean, multiverse is
as they say in Dragon Ball Z Abridged, multi theory or multiverse theory is a bitch.
You think you killed somebody who was a dastard ass villain, then you see a portal open and this motherfucker comes trotting through like, hey bitch, I'm here.
Yeah, just like with Spider-Man when Doc Ock took over Spider-Man's body and killed him, and then all of a sudden, Peter Parker back in his own body with no explanation. People were like, wait, how did that happen?
Who did this? Right.
So wait, the Marvel Universe got its own Dragon Balls that we didn't know about? Like,
right.
We just resurrected folks off screen.
Right.
No story at all. Just they here.
None. Like, oh hey Pete, you came back. Did you get that ice cream sundae after they checked you in?
Oh god.
Okay. So we're gonna go into a Marvel character, a black Marvel character that doesn't get talked about a lot because of his origin story, his story, period, and what the government did to him. And Jawan, I'm gonna let you take this one. So, you know who it is, don't you?
The man himself, my favorite Marvel superhero, Adam Brashear, aka Blue Marvel. You have to say it like that, Blue Marvel, because y'all know he's the shit. The world knows the planet knows he's the shit. He's stronger than Superman. I would say on par, if not probably even stronger than Icon. This man has done monumental things even before he got his powers, from being in the military, risking his life on the line. He even managed to have a white best friend who managed to end up having the same powers as him, except more unstable. And he went on colonize on everybody. Then he got his powers. He did some quantum physics. He explored the negative zone. Even managed to have a wife who so happened to secretly work for S.H.I.E.L.D. and have I think 3 kids by her. I think it's 3. Because I thought it was 2 originally. Because I know he has 2 boys. I think he has a daughter too now. At this point, and they all have the same powers as him, just in different variations.
Yeah.
He he is technically the first Avenger, not Captain America, because he was the idea that kicked off the Avengers initiative, not Captain Marvel and not Captain America.
You're right. You were so right about that. But of course, like Monica Rambeau, they whitewashed and retconned that. So yeah.
You can't have too
and we have to give an honorable mention to Monica Rambeau because she got cheated. No matter how they want to spend it, she got cheated out of being.
She still getting cheated.
Right. She got cheated out of being Captain Marvel because she was Captain Marvel, and then they would have bring her back as full time, no problem. But y'all still messed her up. You know, like she should have been in the MCU as a black female solo movie. She should have been Captain Marvel, not Carol Danvers, but
like when she became Captain Marvel, when Carol Danvers became Captain Marvel, it kind of like kind of shook me in a bit. I'm like, first of all, y'all just gonna downplay on a female that was the first female that was black female that was Captain Marvel, in which I did love that panel when Monica did call her out about it. But Carol kind of bounced back and said, "Hey, you already got like these 15 of your names. You know, you can go by any of them." But she was like, "But first, I was still Captain Marvel. After the original one died, I was the new Captain Marvel. You could have came to me like we had this conversation." And I feel like every time Monica does something, she's always like, "Oh, either some people can't write her power set, or she's too powerful, or we don't know what to do with her." And I think they recently just not depowered her, but lowered her powers down until she got cheated again. But I'm happy that she's now dating Blue Marvel, which I'm happy now they're dating. So, you know, I want them to, you know, mate and have a super baby. It's so bad. I know they're going to be powerful. I know it is.
Powerful ass.
I want this ship to happen. I need this ship to happen. I need them to get married and have a kid. That kid gonna be powerful. That's all I want.
We need something like that because I mean, we don't see a whole lot of black couple superheroes get together and they have children. Like the only ones I've notably seen, Black Panther and Storm. At least in my recollection so far, that's about it.
Because people kind of pair them up with, you know, other characters like Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. Okay, that they got history together.
Yeah.
Granted, you know, they got history
together.
The
part is she wasn't supposed to end up with him because essentially in the beginning she had a crush on Peter.
Yeah,
they went to high school together.
Yeah, she wanted to date Peter.
Yeah.
But in the end of the day, you know, they did what they did, got pregnant. You know, Luke was like, "Fuck it, you know, let's get married," which you know, I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
And which Danielle became Captain America in an alternate universe, which I'm so happy about. Though I'm really happy about that. So that's a plus side of it, though.
Yeah, but yeah, but yeah, we had to give that shot to Monica Rambeau, and hopefully the MCU does bring her into it after Rogue drains Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers' powers.
Well,
they make her Captain Marvel.
Laura McGrath is playing her in WandaVision.
You said what?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, that's she's in WandaVision, so she's in the MCU.
No,
but a movie.
But remember, in Captain Marvel 2, they're supposed to have Rogue come in and be a villain. So we'll see how that works.
Well,
We'll see how that works out.
hopefully, Monica will have her powers by the end of WandaVision. Hopefully, I'm praying that will happen.
Yeah, me too.
Uh,
Because with WandaVision is supposed to be her doing sort of a what if kind of things going on, like her and Vision having their children.
I think they're supposed to have their children, and she's supposed to reenact, different scenarios with the children.
Yeah.
But she's being overseen by Sword, so it's already like, oh, we about to get into some weird territory, which also this show goes into the Doctor Strange movie, Multiverse of Madness. I'm like, yeah, this gonna be some crazy shit about to happen.
Yeah. With Agatha Harkness and Nightmare, yeah, it's gonna be crazy. But yeah, so and then okay, so I'm gonna go back to Blue Marvel. So y'all seen the Underworld movies, right? And I Frankenstein, the Underworld movie with Kate Beckinsale.
Mm-hmm.
So the creator of the Underworld movies is also the creator of Blue Marvel. His name is
I've seen Underworld.
Yeah, his name is Kevin Grievous. I hope I said that correctly.
Oh, is it?
Oh, wow.
The big black dude that's in the first movie?
Yeah, he was a werewolf, yeah. The big werewolf, yeah.
Ooh.
Or Lycan, should I say. Yeah. Yeah, he's the one that Blue Marvel. He also wrote for Superman, Batman, and others. But Blue Marvel was created to, like we said earlier, be a hero who was black and could sit at the table with Superman, Martian Manhunter, and Sentry as far as power, and Reed Richards and Tony Stark as far as intelligence. So he's not just only powerful, he's smart.
They don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and the colonizers probably, but like I said earlier, and when me and Kimmy were talking, he needs to come back in a big way, and I can't think of a bigger way for him to come back other than the MCU.
Yeah.
Because
the MCU is the place to be if you think about it.
Yeah.
And it's like if you're in that, if you're being a part of that, then it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna get that longevity type situation. So
your stuff is gonna sell.
It'd be good.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like they're gonna make you a big thing, and people are gonna learn to love you if they haven't loved you before.
Mm-hmm.
Quote unquote example, Guardians of the Galaxy. Nobody was checking for the Guardians of the Galaxy before the movie came out. As soon as the movie came out, I need to read about Guardians of the Galaxy. I want group figures. I want Gamora figures. And it was like, it was a surge of just being, it was an unknown team. They were known, but they wasn't known to that high of a caliber to.
They weren't popular like that. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, being a part of the MCU is definitely gonna put you on the map, and people are gonna start paying attention to you if they didn't pay attention to you before.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, you have like characters that a lot of us might like that we think could have been perfect for it, but they don't show it. So, when they give those people that spotlight, it's like, we're kind of like, finally. But there are a lot of people like, ooh, let me look into this person. I didn't know about this, But, yeah. We shall see.
Yeah,
we can only hope.
I'm looking forward to the X-Men join, because I feel like that's gonna be like the selling point. When you like having the X-Men, like we kind of already got happy in a way where we was told that, hey, we're buying out Fox, and I'm like, all their properties. I'm like, wait, so this you can all the? I'm like, okay, this is what's happening. But now when they introduce X-Men into the MCU, it's gonna be like a whole change, because I feel like the Avengers is gonna be like this second team. It's eventually be like the back line of the X-Men, because once the X-Men show up and they show out, it's like, well, Avengers, you had to run. Proud of you. You did good.
They can really do some damage. Yeah, Marvel can really do some damage if they do things correctly. That's all I have to say about that. It's like if you do it right, it can work. It was a little rocky at first, but clean it up now.
Yeah, well, that's mostly Marvel's fault because but because of the fact that they were going through, I guess their comics weren't selling, so their stock was falling, and they were going through a bankruptcy issue where it was either go bankrupt or we're gonna sell off certain properties, and they sold Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four to Fox in order to keep them.
Now they making
and we see what they did with the movies. No,
there's a big difference between the two. It's like
I will say it is the only smart move they made with that was giving Spider-Man to Sony, because Spider-Man they turned out some good movies. They did turn out some good movies with Spider-Man, with Tobey Maguire, and even with Andrew Garfield, and the Amazing Spider-Man. Even though it commercially and critically it wasn't as good as people thought it was going to be, but I actually like both of those universes with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. I like Tobey Maguire a little bit more, except for Spider-Man 3. That was...
We don't talk about that movie.
Child, again, another thing that just should not be talked about.
Right.
Lord. There's a list of things that just should not be talked about movie-wise. And
exactly right.
Let's just let that go.
Yeah.
Just throw it out. Put that in that category with that Blade series with Sticky Fingers.
Right.
Throw it away.
Right.
Throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad.
They're like, it happened, but we don't acknowledge it. We don't feed into it. It just happened, and we let it go.
We don't know her
at all.
Nope. Okay, so my next hero that we're gonna talk about, I was trying to do a screen share, and I don't know how to get that screen to share to this, but it's okay. So we're gonna talk about our half Black, half Puerto Rican hero who took up the mantle of Spider-Man when Peter Parker died, and that is Miles Morales, who a very successful Spider-Man movie. And I wish Torres was still here, because this would have been something he should have stuck around for, but I don't know what happened to him. Miles Morales, he has become such okay, so at first his comics weren't selling, they were kind of faltering. And this is when they was like, well, we need to do something with this character before he tanks completely. So they made Spider-Verse, which I'm glad they did, because it came out, for me, it came out at a very good time where I was going through a lot. And I went to the movies on January 31st, because it was New Year's Eve. I ain't nothing else to do. We saw that movie, and I came out like, oh yeah, this is gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. And the scene in that movie for me was, as for anybody else, was the leap of faith scene where, and they even showed that scene in their teaser trailer where he's upside down falling, which looks like into the city. And when we first saw it, we were like, well, is he falling into another universe? Why is he falling like this? But it was still, in that moment, it was an iconic scene. And I will say, out of all the animated Spider-Man scenes, and even some of the live action scenes, that's got to be the most iconic right there. It's just a simple screenshot of him falling into the city, but it means so much, because once you figure out what it is, it's like it's a leap of faith, because he's like, how do I know I'm Spider-Man? And Peter tells him, you don't. Oh, this is a leap of faith. And, and this is also after he goes to Aunt May, gets his costume, repaints it black and red, gets his web shooters, and he goes to the top, to the highest building, and it's on that thing like this. It's like, okay, all right. So here we go. And he jumps off, And that's just it.
And he got a
Right.
whole montage of the whole theme song all at the same time.
Yes,
Like,
and that was, baby,
you
that was
better do it, Miles. You better do it.
right. That was epic right
For
there.
real.
That
Yeah. It was a really good movie. And just visually, it was really good.
yeah.
I just love the way they like created it and everything like that. Um, so I'm also glad that I saw it because it was a really good movie.
hmm And it was also a coming of age story told in an animated way in under 2 hours. I mean, they did that. I was like, yes,
Yes.
y'all did this because
Yes. Oh
he
yes.
had to deal with a whole
Yes.
lot.
I sat down with my roommate and we watched it. He was like, I did not realize we could be Spider-Man so much better. I was like, yeah, we can.
Because I'm telling you, look, that movie. Hold on, before we get into his powers and abilities, that movie, because think about everything he had to face. Okay, he just got bit by the spider, and learning about his powers, and he goes back to that spot where the spider was to figure out what happened. He realized the spider's dead, but then he hears something going on underground. He goes down there, sees Spider-Man fighting Goblin, and he's witnessing what's happening, and Spider-Man dies in front of him. So somebody, and unfortunately, this is a running thing with Spider-Man and Spider people. Somebody has to die in order for you
Somebody is always dying.
to die.
With
Right?
Spider-Man.
It's
Yeah.
either Uncle Ben. For Gwen Stacy, it was Peter Parker. For any Peter Parker, it was their Uncle Ben. Well, I think one was his. One they tried to do one universe where it was Aunt May, but that didn't take off. It just wasn't going to work that way because
For this instance, it was the Ultimate Universe Peter Parker that made in this movie. I think it was like the Ultimate Universe Peter Parker who died for Miles to like step up and do the mantle. And he also found out that his uncle was the Prowler, which was a supervillain. So he was like, "Oh, fuck this!"
right.
Like, well, damn, this shit is just going. This is just going all left.
Not to mention his dad don't like Spider-Man, so he had to deal with that part too. He had to go to a new school, and then he had to figure out how to be Spider-Man from all these other Spider people that from different universes. It also stopped the Kingpin from destroying the Earth, from destroying New York City.
And the multiverse in general, really.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that movie was amazing. I mean,
Really was.
it was, and on the top of that, Miles has more abilities than Peter Parker does.
There you go.
Miguel O'Hara too.
So what now?
He even has more abilities than Miguel O'Hara.
Oh yeah, and technically Miles is stronger than Spider-Man. It's stronger than Peter.
Yeah, I mean, in the comics, Blackheart showed up, and Spider-Man and the Avengers teamed up, and they all got their asses whooped until Miles showed up, and with Cap's shield, he beat Blackheart by himself.
He sure did.
That's a feat in itself. Blackheart is not for the faint of heart for any of them. They know they have to team up to beat him. Because hell, even Ghost Rider has an issue with him at times by himself.
Right. Not to mention that Miles just took on Galactus by himself.
Yup.
And that right there, whoa. That right there ain't no easy feat.
Look, for you to take on Galactus by yourself, look, you need
a legendary status. You legendary.
Right.
Yeah.
Instantly. Because and plus Miles has a camouflage ability. He has the electric ability, which he calls the venom bite.
Which I'm glad that they're trying to utilize in the upcoming video game. Because I saw some things and I was like, thank God, because I don't want y'all to make him just another Peter Parker.
Right. Because he's so much more than that. Most of the Spider-Men in the Spider-Verse are so much more than what Peter is.
Yeah.
Even the goofy ones.
Right. Peter is just like the baseline, and everybody just build from there and say, let's get it, let's take, let's see what we give. If this work, we do it. If it don't work, then let's just discard it and just try again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
but
I feel like that's like with Spider-Gwen and um, Miguel O'Hara and it's just a lot of them. Even with Venom, it's Venom has become way more than what Spider-Man has become, which I am so thankful for now.
but even down to his alternate selves, like there's an evil alternate version. There's 2 alternate evil versions. No, there's 3 that I know of that's based on Spider-Man. You got Spider-Wolf. You got Spider Carnage, which is Peter Parker with the symbiote the symbiote Carnage on him, and you have Doppelganger. And to be honest, to this day, I still don't know where Doppelganger came from. I think
from an alternate dimension.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think it came from the alternate dimension. He was just a demonic version of Spider-Man with sharp teeth and multiple arms.
Like he was a mess in itself. They had a hard time getting rid of him. Because he even put up a fight against Venom and Carnage together.
Oh. So but Miles being also he Black and Puerto Rican, and the one thing I'm glad they didn't do in the movie, and I don't know if it was because in the video game, I don't know if it's because his dad is a cop, was have him get racially profiled by a cop. They didn't do that in the movies or in the video game, and we were like, I'm glad to see it because and like I said, in this day and age right now, with the way things are, look, it could have been slipped in there, but from the fact that we need a break from that sometimes with everything going on, I'm glad it wasn't. But it could have been slipped in there, and then we wonder how Spider-Man would have dealt with that situation. Miles would have dealt with the situation, but would his dad being a cop saved him, or would it made it worse?
Right.
It could have gone either way.
Great.
But we are glad to see that there is a he's the first Black Spider-Man, and the second one, as I said earlier, was Spider-Punk, who is an alternate version, not alternate version, but alternate universe, where I can't remember his real name, but I do know that he's opposing Osborn, not Osborn as a Goblin, but just Osborn period, because Osborn wants to do stuff, and plus that Spider-Punk is British and Black, so there's that storyline too. But he came out in 2017. Osborn came out in 2011. And the only time that my first time in seeing or hearing about Spider-Punk was in the Spider-Man PS4 game.
Same. I was like,
and then I went and did my research. And said, oh, he Black. Okay.
Right. I was like, oh.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and now we've come to our climax. Well, I don't say climax, but we come to a changing point now. So we'll go back to the originator, the original Black superhero that came out in Marvel Comics, which was Black Panther, who at first they were going to name Cold Tiger. I'm so glad they didn't.
Me too. My God. My God. That's a horrible name.
Yeah.
Horrible.
It is horrible.
Oh my God.
Like, I was so glad I didn't go with Cold Tiger, because
he probably wouldn't have had that much of a push if that was his name.
Right. And somebody would have found some way to turn that racial. It would have been.
Right.
And you know what? And when the movie came out, if they would have CGI'd M'Baku, the man ape, that would have been another racial thing. I had a discussion with somebody at GameStop. It was like, yeah, because could you imagine to be like, Black Panther is fighting a black ape? wait, what? Hold on, a black monkey. You know, that would have been a.
Yeah, that'd have been Mm.
Had they CGI'd him to actually look like the man ape, I'd have been like, see, no, don't. Y'all create a problem, right?
Yeah, that'd have been like a whole. No, I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
Right.
I don't like it at all.
Toss it. Oh, but he made his debut in 1966. He comes from a long line of Black Panthers, where at first the land of Wakanda was, ridiculed with war from different tribes trying to take over and rule, until Bass came up and said, well, somebody needs to take charge and protect this land. And, but that was after was it before or after the vibranium hit Earth? It was one of the two. So then the vibranium hit Earth, and they made everything, including his suit, out of vibranium, which is probably the strongest space rock to come into the Marvel Universe. I think it's stronger than antimonium. I think so. But
I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is.
And it's also the same thing that Cap's shield's made out of.
His shield is actually made out of both.
Right. Mm-hmm. But and it's funny how in Civil War, Cap was surprised that Captain America was surprised that Black Panther could cut through his shield and catch it and knock it down like it won't nothing. That's because his suit's made out of the same thing your shield is, well, part of it. So Cap was like, how are you doing this? You'll find out.
Because it is me. It is me.
But yeah, so, and we all know about him becoming King T'Challa and all of that stuff. But now we have to go into the movie. Because for so long, have we not been waiting on the movie?
Yeah, I think we waited on the movie like, since phase one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was been like a whole phase one of, okay, if we get this, where's the other movies at? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm kind of happy that we did kind of get Black Panther like where his in phase, was it in the phase 3 or beginning of phase 4? I think at the end of phase 3.
Yep.
I think Captain Civil War. It's kind of between phase 3 or phase 4. It's one of them. I think it's phase 3. I think we kind of like built for it because I guess we couldn't get Black Panther unless everything was kind of like explained outwards, because
absolutely
with the whole Captain America, then with Iron Man, Thor, then Avengers, then Sokovia, and all of that. Black Panther did kind of come in at a good time, because you just throwing Black Panther in phase 2 is like, okay, but yeah, but I did love that we did get him in Civil War, which made us very hyped for both the Black Panther movie and the Spider-Man movie as well, because it's like, okay, Marvel, you have my attention. Right. I even remember when the trailer first dropped for Civil War, and I just seen Black Panther just running and just taking on Bucky and Cap. Was like,
yeah, to me that was the best scene of the whole movie. When he dropped down and went after, he was going after Bucky at first. When he first popped up, it was after Bucky, and then the chase scene in the in the underpass on the street I was just like, well, damn. And they filmed that so perfectly too. I'm like, even the film direction of that was just spot on.
Yep. Yep, I agree.
But okay, so with the movie, okay, so when the movie came out, we know this explosion. I'm not even. I don't think the explosion describes it, but it's what I'm going to use. This explosion of blackness happened, and
It was a movement.
it was yes. This movement happened, and of course we had colonizers and white tears, which hey, it was expected, and we love tasting white tears. It was expected.
I don't know. I still understand why they wanted white tears if you knew. Like this is when I'd be like, okay, so you knew this character was in this movie. You know we about to get this movie for this character. You knew this character was already been existing since the dawn of time, back mostly before y'all even born. And I'm like, why are you complaining about this movie? Let us have y'all had all these characters of white men in this movie. And then when we get a movie of ourselves, when we get a representative of ourselves, y'all want to be like, well, why we don't have a movie of White Panther or something? If you don't take your white ass on somewhere and go watch Captain America or Tony Stark like 5 times over Thor, let us have this goddamn movie.
Right.
Like, I never.
Let's have one. God.
Like, why y'all so pressed? Y'all so pressed about y'all want this, then when y'all have it, then we have something, or it's a big problem. Sir, ma'am, let us have our movie, because I saw that happening. I actually saw that in a theater when I went to go see it with one of my friends. It was like one of the times when I go see it. I forgot how many times I went to go see this in the movie theater, because I didn't see it like about 5, 6 times. And white guy was just so upset about this movie happening and being played. Like, this movie's not that serious. You guys just making this a big deal about this movie, and you guys never really.
It is a big deal.
And somebody's telling them, like, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to us, not to you. I mean, you're a comic fan. You're a fan. It's a big deal to Black people to see us in this whole cast is nothing but 90% Black. The other 2% is like the other white cast with like 2 men. That was it. And probably the extra girl at the beginning. That's it. Everything else is Black.
Mm-hmm.
It's all you saw. And it was like,
that's a big deal.
It doesn't matter to you how this movie impacted us, because we saw us in this limelight of being a hero and being
royalty
and a king in the futuristic African kingdom. Like, everybody wanted to go to Wakanda after the movie. Everyone said, we want to go to Wakanda. Let's go to Wakanda. Let's go. Let's have our own Wakanda. And this and I get, and I kind of, like, not to keep trailing on, but I really felt like this movie came out at a good time where Black people was already struggling with the president, police brutality, just shit was just not going our way. And then when Black Panther was announced and the trailer dropped and the posters, Black people was excited. I remember the theaters being sold out everywhere, and Black people was ready. Black people wore their, the African attires. People was, lined up outside, and the tickets were sold out. You got to come for another showing, and we just made that movie what it was. That impact really brought us all together for this movie, which I'm so thankful for. And if I can relive that again, I would love to do it. I wanted to do it again.
Yeah. Yes. Not to mention people, to mention with people being in African garbs, people were also cosplaying as Black Panther when they went to the theater. I mean, four dudes dressed up as Black Panther, And we even had a dance. Somebody made up a dance to the soundtrack of Black Panther. Or they would do at the end of the movie in front of the poster the poster signs outside in the theater. And I was just like, yeah, this is a movement because this is something we waited for forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for it to come out in Black History Month on top of that.
Perfect.
Right.
Perfect.
And
Perfect.
so what was y'all feelings after y'all saw the movie, if you can remember?
For me, I just felt extremely like happy. Like I felt really, really good. Like leaving the movie, like even going to the movie, I felt like I didn't have like these crazy expectations or nothing. I just wanted to live in the moment. And then seeing it, it was like, wow, this movie is beautiful. Like, this is really nice. And I just, for me, like I said, I was happy to leave the movie theaters and just talk about it with other people and just be like how much of a great situation and a great movie this whole thing was. And I mean, that movie brought out people who don't even watch Marvel movies, literally. Like there are people that I know that never, Black people that hadn't seen a Marvel film since the beginning, and they watched that movie because of what it was. And then in turn, they became, Marvel like fans, and they wanted to go see the beginning of the MCU and then to go to that. And so, yeah, that movie brought a lot to the table. And so I'm just glad that it happened. And I'm glad that I got to experience it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I was already like a bit the whole DC. I was already watching all the movies when it came out. Like I was already that person where like, okay, I'm gonna see the movie regardless because I'm gonna keep up with this whole phase. But just to see my video not on, why is it not video on? Just to see.
It's been off for a
I'm
while.
sorry, y'all. I had my best friend came in here trying to talk to me. I do apologize. It was just a moment of excitement and thrill, not just for myself, but seeing elderly couple, little kids, little boys who didn't have, they saw Captain America, they saw Thor, but seeing Black Panther in a movie theater in a suit in just blackness, it just was amazing. The way he talked, the way he walked, the way he interacted with his other, co-stars in the movie. It was just seeing them and seeing the boys light up and just say, I want to be T'Challa, I want to be king, Wakanda forever. Yeah. And it's like you see this and you just like, and the comic book nerd in me is like was so happy, but the Black nerd in me was like just exploding with happiness. Mm-hmm. I was like, this is our generation of, if I'm gone, these are the kids that are gonna say, if it's not all of them, some are gonna be comic book nerds and gonna grow up and say, gonna pass it on to their children, because there was a movement, there was a sight to be seen. So I remember that movie, it came out in February 18th. I remember this because from February 18th, and I remember something else came out that year as well. I can't remember what other movie came out that year. There was another movie that came out that year as well. But all I remember was the theaters was like packed, going to see it from that day to probably like the beginning of March, April. Like March was just like, I'm going to see Black Panther. I'm going to see Black Panther. Can't see it on the weekend. You got to see it on a weekday. You got to go see it on the weekday because that's the only time you get able to see it on the weekday because the weekend it was packed. Yeah. Like the morning, the night. Black Panther. Like all showing Black Panther IMAX, real 3D packed. You couldn't say nothing. And I saw Black Panther in the real Max, real 3D, regular. It was amazing on 3. And I'll do it again. If I had a time machine, I'll do it. Go back and do it all over again.
Same.
Well, I went on my birthday. And for it to come out around my birthday, it was just like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. For me, when I left with a lot of emotions. I saw things from both sides, from Killmonger and T'Challa's side. I saw things from both sides, and I saw how they were both the same. They were both different sides of the same coin, because Killmonger, he wanted to commit white genocide, which and I will say this, which is just desserts for the colonizers, because they've done it. He wanted to revolutionize and put weapons in the hands of Black people, vibranium weapons in the hands of Black people, to give them the power to rise up and start a revolution, which would, I think, so also in turn do a white genocide. And I understood that. I really did. And then T'Challa's side, it's like, no, Wakanda will not get involved in other world affairs. We won't get involved in this war that they want to have going on, and this, that, and the third. And then by the end of the movie, he's like, well, yeah, we do need to open up Wakanda to the rest of the world and provide them with technology and vibranium and all this other stuff. I'm like, okay, get that. But the Black nerd in me was like, yes, I've been waiting on this movie for a long time. It's finally happened. I'm excited. This is the greatest birthday present to myself at this moment. And I'm so glad that I was like, yes, this is a good celebration of my birthday. This will be memorable for years, the rest of my life. And I was doing this at the end of the movie, like, yes, Black Power, Black Power, yes. And that was just what it was for me. It was a Black Power moment, because seeing people in African garb, seeing people dressed up, seeing people do all of that, for me as a Black nerd, was less like, yes, we taken a step. And then plus the movie made what? It made billions of dollars. Mm-hmm. Billion. Which lets you know, even though there were white dollars in there, it showed you what Black dollars could do too.
Right.
Yep.
Like, this is a movement. This is more than just a moment. This is a Black movement. Y'all just haven't, whether y'all realize this or not, it is. So you colonizers can be quiet. Y'all can have y'all white tears. But this is us right now. y'all have had too much already. Y'all have enough. This is us right now. We got this. Let's have
this. We got this.
They want more. They want on top of what they have. They want what we have too. I'm like, no. This not for y'all. Y'all don't need everything. Y'all want everything plus what we got. And then you get mad at us when we say no.
Right.
Like, no. And it's like, well, that's not fair.
What? Huh?
Like, huh? But what y'all do ain't fair either. y'all look,
the list is long, okay?
Right. Y'all have destroyed every nation that y'all have planted y'all white, clear asses on.
That's not they're gonna say, oh, that's not our fault, or that's it happened. You gotta let go of the past.
No, they can't. They say that all they can say, and they still can't justify it. Just like they can't justify the stuff that's going on in this today, they can't justify it from the beginning. Tell me one thing. Why do y'all have so much animosity and y'all like to take responsibility and accountability towards Black folks? I'll wait. I got time for that.
Right. Exactly.
Or I got this one thing. if I see this meme all the time on Twitter and on Facebook, and it'll always say like, it's always say like, well, black people stand up for Black Lives Matter, for against police brutality, and you get white people saying, well, we have police brutality in the white community too. I'm like, so you're not mad about the same thing we're mad about? You're not mad at what we're mad about?
Hello.
Tell me
But see, they're already desensitized to it because they've been pillaging their own.
Yeah.
They just expanded the border to everybody else now, especially us.
True.
So that just that really just drive my attention to every time when they say something. I'm like, so if you see it and you see us talking about it and you're kind of mad about it, when did you just kind of like, help us? And that goes back to the nerd community of, well, I don't like this character. You guys make this character such, as if they're not that popular. To you, yes, but to me, this character is what represents me. This character is what I see myself in. So you're not gonna downplay my favorite character because you don't see yourself in that character. You have other characters from other different comic companies that you can see yourself into. But this character, right, you're not gonna touch this character. You're not gonna disrespect this character because that's mine. I earned that.
Right. We've earned that. We there was enough blood on this land from our people, from our veins. We're owed this. Shut up and sit down. Either you enjoy it or you don't. That's how I feel.
You ain't gotta watch it.
This is just the beginning. Like, we owe this and so much more. We gonna get it by any means necessary.
Yep. Exactly.
And my thing is this: if they mad about that, because Marvel reported they're trying to make Professor Xavier and Magneto black in the MCU. So you think they cared about Black Panther? Wait till that happens.
So it's gonna be a war.
That I have two. See, I have like I'm on both sides of that spectrum. I like this. I was like, that sounds interesting. Two, don't mess with the characters.
Right.
I'd rather keep the characters the way that they are, to be honest. Like,
right.
But my thing is, you worry about the wrong characters. I need you to give me characters that represent the characters that's going to be in the movies. I don't care about Professor X and Magneto. Those characters, they need to be two middle-aged or kind of old white dudes. That's it. I need Storm to have African features. I need Wolverine.
Let them stay the way they are.
Look, I need Wolverine to be short. I need Cyclops to be this macho dude who commands, and you look at him, he's commanding everything in his presence. I need Jean Grey to be this soft but powerful woman. You people worried about putting characters in these wrong characteristics. Like, I don't mind, if you want to do Professor X and Magneto as black. Why? I don't see no truth behind that. But why would you put?
Well, because here's the thing.
I get it because of the whole in the movie when they first came out, it was mirror image of Professor, Martin Luther King.
Malcolm X and Martin King. Because
great, wonderful, awesome, but two middle-aged white dudes or old dudes,
right.
And you can easily use that same energy. You can use that same energy to include other black characters.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to change what you've already put out there and what we already know. Don't change that. Just use that same energy to bring out those other black characters, like Blue Marvel, for what we just talked about. There are other characters that you can bring out and put them out there instead of trying to change like he said, two old white men to be black. We don't need that, and we don't want that. Just keep it the way it is.
Yeah, I can agree with that too. I can agree with that. Yeah, cause I kind of felt with some ways. I was like, Well, I will. Would I like to see it? Yeah, but it's not necessary. That's like when who was it that said, oh, it was Ellen Pompeo. She said, just because I have an invitation to the cookout don't mean I'm going. She's like, it's not for me.
That's right, girl.
Just because I have an
I love
invitation
her.
That's
don't mean
right.
I
I
gotta go.
love
It's just not
her.
for me. So
I love her. She knows. She sees. She knows.
right.
She knows, yeah. She
Yeah,
gets it.
but yeah, but still with Black Panther. So okay, so as we all know, the star of Black Panther, who made his he made a dent, he made a crater. Um, being Black and being these other characters too. What's wrong, Kimmy? What's up?
You speaking truth. That's what it
Oh,
is.
okay, okay.
You speaking truth.
He made a crater. He made a mountain-sized crater. Mr. Chadwick Boseman, and we can't believe that he's gone. Still, I mean, we are accepting it, but still, and again, we can't believe that he's gone.
Right.
He was born November 29th, 1976, and died August 28th, 2020, from something we didn't even know he was sick. We didn't even know he was diagnosed with colon cancer. He was diagnosed, what was it, 2016?
Mm-hmm.
And he did Civil War. He did Thurgood Marshall. He did, Jackie Robinson, the film 42. He was Jackie Robinson. He did Get On Up in 2014. And Marshall came out in 2017. He was still. So that's when he was still dealing with cancer as well. So he did a lot of good of his majority of his roles while he was dealing with cancer.
Almost his whole catalog while he was dealing with cancer. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even in that movie, A Message from the King, that was a good movie. And I don't know if anybody has seen that, but if you haven't, please go see it. That was a good movie. I haven't seen.
I just recently, like last week, I watched 21 Bridges.
I haven't seen it yet.
That was really good, and I was just like, and I was just looking at the movie like, you told me this man was going through cancer, filming this whole movie, and it's just like,
yeah,
we take for granted a lot of things for people, and I just be like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
his acting, you can't tell he's sick. You can't tell he's tired. You can't tell he's not motivated. Throughout the whole movie, he's giving a lot of energy. He's giving he's being professional about it, and it's just like, what? It's like, what? Huh?
Right. And then the fact that his if I'm not mistaken, his co-workers didn't even know.
Mm-mm.
He literally kept it under, he literally kept it between him and his family. Nobody knew. Nobody knew what he was going through this whole time. And just seeing, hearing that is just kind of weird to me. It's like, wow, it's powerful at the same time. It's like, wow, he was doing all of these things while he was suffering. And even then, outside of movies, he was, going to go see kids who had cancer and everything like that. And I remember a video clip that came around when the movie came out, but it also is just pretty powerful now, where he talked about these two kids who were battling cancer, and they were waiting for the movie to come out, but they died before the movie came out, and he got emotional about it. And it's just so crazy to think that he was fighting for them while also fighting for himself. It's just wow. It's just crazy to even think about. And I'm like, wow, like, talk about a person you want to be, like, literally him. So yeah.
And I mean, he gave more than, it's like he knew he was battling it, but he still gave. He gave more than he should have, and more than anybody else would have given in that circumstance.
Yep.
Because once somebody hears, "Oh, I got cancer," it's like, let me focus on my health. But he said, but even though he was focusing on his health, he was also focusing on his family, his friends, these kids that are battling cancer, putting out these good movies, putting out these roles in these, being these good roles in these movies. I mean, being James Brown, being in the Five Bloods, being T'Challa, being our Black Panther, being in Gods of Egypt.
I'm sorry for that movie.
Yeah, we not, but he was there, and he was the only dark-skinned Black guy in the movie. Well, most of the only Black guy in the movie, period. But we're gonna talk about that. And he was also the Express in 2008. Before, that was before, but still, I mean, he made his mark on this world, regardless of what would have happened to him. He made his mark, and that's just what it is. And it's so sad that it's cut short, and especially dealing with the MCU, because even Kevin Feige didn't know he was battling cancer. Nobody, it's like all the people that knew was
nobody knew.
And
nobody knew.
Right, and people, and what disgusts me about people, when he put out that video, when it looked like he had lost weight. We could see that he was losing weight, and we could tell that he looked sick, but they played it off as he was getting ready for a role, and people were clowning him about it. And I'm just like, y'all don't know what this man's going through. And plus, he's an actor. People lose and gain weight for their roles. So why are you sitting over here clowning him?
Absolutely.
This makes no sense. But I wonder, do those that were clowning him, how do y'all feel now?
I really feel now. I seen one of my friends on Facebook had said, I saw y'all talk about this man. I screenshotted it. And now y'all feeling sad about it. Now, if I would have released these screenshots, we would have been, this would have been a whole different conversation. Now I'm like, you know what, you should have just did that. You should just release them.
Right.
Just release them.
Yeah, because I think what it is I remember seeing that video on his page, and in my mind, I was like, oh, I just hope and pray that this is for a movie role. Because in my mind, I was like, I hope that he's not sick. I hope that he's not going through something. I just hope and pray that this is for a movie role, because like you said, actors and actresses, they do stuff like that, where they have to either bulk up for a movie role or lose an extreme amount of weight for movie roles. And so in my mind, I was like, I'm hoping that because he looks really, really bad. He looks sick. And I'm like, I'm hoping that it's just for a movie role. And of course, I was wrong. It wasn't for a movie role. And it's just kind of crazy. But I never wanted to, like, personally, I never wanted to clown him, because at the same time, again, it could be for a movie role, but it could also be real deal life. So you just never know. And so I feel like sometimes people jump the gun and they don't act human in a sense at a moment. They don't act human. They just want to say something to get eyes turning or make headlines and things like that. And it's like, but for what? Just be human for a moment and just say, we hope that he's okay. Right. And keep it moving.
Because
even if it was for a movie role, he was gonna kill it.
Right.
Come on.
Right. Because the next movie he was supposed to do, either he did also lose that weight for that role, or they played it into it, was he was supposed to be the first African American samurai named Yasuke. That was supposed to be his next movie.
Oh, that would have been great.
Wow.
That would have been great.
And I would have loved to have seen
That's crazy.
He's supposed to be like one of the Romans. And I think what they're gonna do is make it seem like, okay, when he first gets there, before he's trained, he's gonna look, malnourished and skinny and scrawny, whatever, and then throughout the movie, bulk up and be a fighter, that kind of thing. But yeah, like we said, he was also battling colon cancer, and even in the video he put out where we see him looking, bad or sick, looking like he lost weight, he was not talking about himself. He was talking about people being hungry.
Right.
That was his message.
Right.
And then
literally
people up there clowning him. And I'm just like, come.
This is literally a man that didn't care. Like, he cared more about others than he did himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's all his coworkers said. Everyone he worked with, he cared more about himself. He cared about more about others than himself.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell that when interviews, he's enjoying everybody's company. He's talking to everybody. He's enjoying people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, why, Lord? Why?
Right.
like, Lord, why?
In 2020, Lord, why
Like,
you taking all the people that we don't want to see go?
Right. And it shocked me when I heard that. I was just like, at first I thought it was a hoax because people will see this celebrity died and it'd be a hoax or it'd be fake, but not
right.
On Google and CNN, I was just like, oh, it's real. I was just like, no.
No, see, I thought it was a hoax too, but then I was like, let me go to his Instagram page just to be sure.
Mm-hmm.
I went on there, and that's when I was like, oh, it's real, because it's on his page. It's got to be real. And so I was just like, what the heck? And I remember I told somebody, I was like, literally, Charles, is it raining? Sorry. Literally, rain be coming out of nowhere, child. But literally, whenever I found out about his death, it was like so many things just kind of came back into my mind. I started to like remember when I saw the movie, what I felt like that day. And I remember telling somebody that date, because I think the movie came out, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, it's February 16th. I saw it February 15th, the day before. And I wasn't originally going to go see the movie when it first came out because I knew that it was going to be super packed. And I knew that by the time I got off of work, it wasn't going to work. But my friend called me and said, hey, I got tickets to see the movie. Mm-hmm. Do you want to go? You can pay me back or whatever. He was like, but it's today. Mm-hmm. And then I said, yeah, I'm going. I'll go. I ended up getting off of work early just to make it to the movie theater on time to see it. And like I said, I just remember that day, like from beginning to end. The day was a really good day. A lot of great things happened to me that day. And then I ended up seeing the movie as well. So it was almost like a wow moment that like February 15, 2018 was just a great day. And then, so basically him passing, it was almost like all of that just came back into my mind. And I'm just like, wow, like this one man, played this role, which also was a part of a great day for me. And so I just, it's crazy to even think that this has happened. It's still shocking to me today. And another thing that I don't like that a lot of people seem to want to do is bring up what they think that the movie should do. Let's not even go there. Let's not even think about it.
I was just like,
they were doing it the day after.
Right.
I'm like, what are you doing? And I kept correcting people. I'm like, if y'all really want to go into that conversation, if we really want to talk about it, first of all, y'all are talking about going back in time and making Killmonger the Black Panther. No, like, why are we even having this conversation? And if you really want to have that conversation, you would know that in the comics, who becomes Black Panther?
Fury.
His sister. Thank you. So all of that y'all are talking about, cut it out.
Oh, I heard men don't want that as well.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Of course they don't.
Like, oh,
of course they don't. Because
I'm like, no, sweetie, no, that's not what we do here.
No. We don't like you said. We don't do that. We don't do that here.
We
We don't
do
do that here. But yeah, people were getting on my nerves with that. And I'm just like, y'all have, especially y'all who don't read comics and don't know, like even y'all should know that in the line of royalty, who's the next king or queen? The next of kin. But y'all talking about someone making Killmonger or somebody. I'm like, no, that's not how that works. In the comics, yes.
That would go completely against.
Right. Shuri does become the next Black Panther, but she has a hard time doing it because in the comics she was jealous of T'Challa being the king and being Black Panther. So Bass was like, you have to prove yourself that you want to be queen and be Black Panther. But
Not yet. Oh my God, I realized that too. Oh dear God. Oh, that's gonna be interesting as well.
But we don't know how they're gonna spin it.
Yeah,
But and I feel bad that we only just got to the tip of the iceberg in T'Challa's story, and if they do not recast him and pass it on to her, I'm just feeling like we're only getting this small portion of his story or of his comic line, and it's as iconic as it is, and it was when it came out. We only got this much. I mean, we're blessed. Don't get me wrong. We're blessed to have what we have, but it just feels like also at the same time it feels like a bitter thing. Like, dang, we only get this much of T'Challa. Now we got to pass it on to Shuri in her journey, and then what about Storm? How they gonna do her now and things of that nature if they don't recast?
I really feel like one. I thought like I had put some thought into it. Yes, we should get a role to Shuri. Just to say T'Challa is, badly hurting like he was in Doom War. Shuri took the spot. During that time, we can get somebody to replace T'Challa. Like we don't have to do it like right away. It's just point of we need to think about who are we going to recast. You don't have to show him. He could just be in a Panther suit and just be that way. Yeah. And we won't know until possibly the next Black Panther movie where then we can know who it is, because there was a point where I remember like we could play it off like who was that, like Rhodey, Arm Machine in West Coast Avengers. Everyone thought he was Tony Stark in West Coast Avengers. They didn't know he was Rhodey, the other Iron Man, until Bait and Switch like, hey, I'm Black out of here. Like, oh, we thought you were Tony. No. I feel like we can just keep this hidden. Like we can use a body as Black Panther in the second movie, and then kind of gradually tell everybody, hey, this is the new Black Panther, the new movie.
Right.
That's probably, you won't get that to probably 2024, 26, when everything else is work out, because we kind of like kind of reaching. And I didn't think they was in post-production. I think they were still in post-production for 2. I think Ryan Coogler just started the script, working on the script. I remember it's one of them.
Yeah, so, because now they're they're delaying the movie till late. I think it's either till late 2022 or early 2023. There's gonna be one or two.
As they should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think they should.
Because
and I'm pretty sure they end up. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good, but yeah, because of everything that was because of Chadwick's passing, they were like, now we gotta, as they should, now they gotta figure out what they're gonna do, and instead of rushing it, and I have to commend Crystal Dynamics for what they for their switch up. I have to commend because they were going to show Black Panther as the first DOC, but when Chadwick Boseman passed, they were like, no, because we don't want to make his death a cash grab.
Thank you.
So they showed
Kate
instead. And I have to commend them, even though they did confirm him, because their message was, but we were going to show you this, but we have to show you something different, and we can.
But we switched it,
and we were like,
so they confirmed it.
We sure you can understand why, because of things that have happened. And when the Panther picture came out, I was like, oh, so they are confirming him that he is in this game. They're gonna show his trailer right now because they don't want to make it seem like, oh, he died. Let's cash grab and get backlash, and they were smart with that. And I respect the fact that they did that. And it was just like, y'all smart. Because if y'all had released this and
right.
It would have been a cash grab. Also, y'all would have kept his. It's like, to some people, it'd be like he never died. Also on that level too. It's like he's still here, and us as fans, as Black people, we have to accept that he's home with the ancestors. And if we saw him, it might have been some emotional issues with that as well, So I get why they did it, and I did it that way. And now he's probably he'll come out, if I'm guessing correctly, he'll come out right before Spider-Man comes out. So he'll come out maybe late December, early January, somewhere in there. So yeah.
And there was an Easter egg apparently in the video game. Whenever, I don't want to spoil it for people, but whenever Kamala was at A-Day, and there was a section somewhere on there that read about Cap's shield, and about how it mentioned something about Shuri and the vibranium and stuff like that. So there's a possibility that she might be in the game too, some kind of way. So yeah, I just feel like if they do it right, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So
and also in
it's going to be great.
In Fortnite, there's a Panther statue.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. That's very nice. I definitely commend gaming companies who actually see this as a big impact and just, say, hey, we see you guys, we understand, here's something, here's something to, remember, maybe be remembered by, or, hold off on it. We're gonna make this extra special for him, so that way you guys can actually, enjoy. Because I feel like Black Panther's gonna be like, get that extra treatment now. With the Avengers game, so I feel like they're gonna be like, okay, we need to add more in here. We need to give more, because we just can't, half-ass it this time. We already pushed it back. Now we gotta bring it. So
we gotta enhance it. We gotta bring it. Yeah.
Yeah, and when they bring him out, when they bring him in Spider-Man out, but most when they bring him out, these glitches will be fixed.
Okay,
baby.
These glitches are just
like yes. Crystal Dynamics, fix your glitches. That's all I'm gonna say is fix it.
I'm like, man, sir.
Like the weirdest thing is like when you see somebody's like suit, one way the graphic is very bad, but then next thing you know, it's like it's perfect, and I'm like, why? And I'm not even a graphic person. I don't look at stuff like that, but I noticed it. And it was just like, okay, but the glitches are true.
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't experienced many glitches. I've only experienced one so far, and I'm just like, thank you, but yeah. Yeah, but
I've heard horror stories.
Yeah, I have to. And I'm like, fix it.
Yeah.
But so I'm gonna ask y'all to join me, and we're gonna give a Wakanda salute to Chadwick Boseman and say, farewell. So, come on, everybody, let's join me in the salute because he deserves it.
Aww.
All right, so
wearing my beads today.
Yeah, I saw those. I have, I have those. I didn't put them on, but I have those too. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. All right. Chadwick Boseman, thank you for being our Black Panther on the films, and thank you for just being a great human, being a great humanitarian, caring about others more than yourself. All right, Wakanda forever. Rest in peace. All right, y'all. So with that, I'm gonna wrap this up. We're gonna end this podcast. Thank you all for joining me on this. I really appreciate it. Um, and we'll do it again.
Fun.
Do it again in a month or two if y'all feel like it. Something different though. But thank you for joining me today. Really appreciate y'all. All right. So.
Yeah.